know-how down the new Peacock Gym, chatting to Martin Bowers, Ray Ball and Adam Spelling. How are you doing, gents?
Thanks, Joe. Yourself?
Yeah, I'm really good, thanks. Firstly, thanks for having us down, especially down the new Peacock. Tell us a little bit about it, if you don't mind, because obviously the original Peacock, if that's what I'm calling it, is world famous. Everyone knows it, and you've brought yourself out here to Essex. What's the thought behind that?
Well, the thought behind it is basically we're going to be developing that site, and that site is going to be developed eventually. Then we've been, we was thinking about moving and talking about creating a new gym, and then the COVID-19 come along, and obviously that sort of kicked this, set the ball rolling for this to happen. We had the 4 months where we had time to sort of put our efforts and energies into doing the gym, and we've got it built, and the gym's still there in Canning Town. We've still got a presence in Canning Town. There's boys there training. There's personal trainers there doing a one-to-one. But again, because of the situation with the COVID, the gym's not open to the public fully yet, and I can't see it being open for quite some time. So that's where we are. That's why we're here.
Fantastic. Well, it looks brilliant. So I've just interviewed 3 of the lads, and they're all saying how great it is to be. A couple of them, I think Louis and Chris, got to drive a bit further, but they're both like, I don't mind doing that.
It's all right for us, though.
Yeah, definitely. Just around the corner, literally.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. We'll start on last week, if that's all right. So Big Dan was out, replacement fighter in Snyder's. I read somewhere that they're failing to get MRI scans in or something.
That's what we was told, yeah.
5-3, yeah. So how did that night pan out? Another good win for you?
Well, the night was... It's self-explanatory, really. I mean, it was the fight that Dan needed a fight, needed to be under the lights. Obviously, we could have done with a few more rounds, but listen, it's boxing, it's heavyweight boxing. We see the week before that anything can happen in it, heavyweight boxing. One split, lapse in concentration. I know that was at a little bit of a higher level and 2 elite fighters, but it can happen at any level in heavyweight. So Dan had to be on point. Dan done his job, and we move on. It's boxing.
Excellent. So, big question, $64 million question. Are we on for October the 24th?
I think you'd have to ask Frank and everybody else that, and perhaps even Boris Johnson, but we're all going to start preparing as if we're on. I mean...
Well, someone just said that it's been cancelled to November now.
Yeah.
So, I heard a rumour the other day. You mean something different?
Someone just said it out there. I don't, but that's...
And I imagine if it's been delayed again, it will only be because they want fans on seats, right?
Yeah.
I would think so.
You need a live audience for that fight. Fights like that, you need a live audience.
It's been frustrating, hasn't it? From March to June. It's one of those things.
Sports, it's been frustrating.
And that's why he needed a fight, Daniel, because he'd been, and Joe, they've been not active. You know what I mean? It's a big layoff. And to come in and have a big fight, you're asking a lot of the boys, isn't you? They need to, like mine said, need to be under the lights, don't they?
That's 8 months Dan was out, and I think Joe was a little bit longer than that. So, fair play to them. Look, they've both done what they've been asked to do. They've both beat their opponents, and hopefully now we get that fight on.
Good. I saw I think it was Monday, the WBO had changed their rankings now, so Dan's the number 2. And number 1, Parker's gone down to number 3, and number 1 is Usyk. Now there's lots of rumours going around at the moment. Will Wilder sign a fight or not with Fury? And then you got Eddie saying they'll get it on with Frank, etc. for Fury and AJ. If that was to happen, I think Usyk might be. They might have to vacate the WBO. That potentially could leave Dan in the number 2 spot to fight Usyk for that belt.
Again, listen, that's if buts and maybes. We don't know what's going to happen, and all we can do is just be prepared and be in the gym. And for the British public, personally, I think they want to see that fight. I hope they want to see that fight. It's a good fight. It's an honest 50-50. If he was an outsider looking in, it's what you need to see.
At the moment, we got to concentrate on Joyce until something like what Martin said. It's if buts, pots and pans, isn't it? But at the moment, we got to fight with Joyce, and that's what we got to look at, isn't it? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Good stuff. Well, if that goes ahead, hopefully sooner rather than later, and if Dan comes through that as you hope he will, then maybe it might be something like Usyk and then knocking on the door.
But listen, you can't jump that until we jump this one. Then you don't want to look at that. It's a completely different fighter from Joe. If that fight was to come along, and maybe it will in a few years' time or whenever, you'd prepare differently. But at the moment, we're looking at Joe. He's an orthodox, big unit.
Yeah,
big unit. And Usyk is a completely different fight. He's got great movement, different angles. It's a completely different fight. So we don't want to confuse that ourselves, and we definitely don't want to confuse Dan with what could be maybe what's happening. All we need to do is stay focused on Joe, because that's the fight that we all see is going to happen.
Martin, what did you think of and Ray and yourself as well? What did you think of Joe's weight when he last fought? Do you think that was an issue or?
Yeah, look, we don't train Joe, so I don't want to talk about his weight. Keep putting the weight on as far as I'm concerned. It's nothing to do with us. All we need to worry about is
concentrating what we're doing.
Joe's a different animal. Listen, what Joe does and Joe does it effectively, and it works for Joe. So we don't need to comment on what Joe does or what he doesn't do. All we need to do is prepare for him. So if he's happy at that weight, crack on. Dan's got a fighting weight, we'll come into that.
Good stuff. So then that was last week. Let's move on to next week. So we've just watched Denzel. He's just had God knows how many rounds of sparring in there, intense. I think we threw him in for cruiserweight at the end as well. So how's Denzel looking?
I'll let Ray answer that first.
He's looking good. He's done everything what's been asked for him in this camp, and he's looked well. His weight's well. Everything's well. There's no excuses. We've ticked in the boxes, and that's all we can do, isn't it? You know what I mean? At the end of the day, and this is a fight he wants, and it's a fight we need to know now. Because Mark's known Mark, and we won't treat him as a Mark. You know what I mean? He's a good fighter. So we've got to respect that. And that's what we've trained for. At the end of the day.
I just said to Denzel himself, considering his record is knockout. Watching what I've just seen there's no question on his engine there, I can tell you that.
No.
He's just done a lot there.
No,
with all fairness, what you just said, I mean, we know, without blowing our own trumpets, that's all of us here, that we know that they do the rounds in the gym, and you have to do the rounds. Even if you can punch, it doesn't mean that, so you have to do the rounds, you have to put the work in, and he, like Ray just said, he has put the work in. He's done the rounds, he's done the runs, he's done the groundwork. We'll be ready and prepared now. And as always, like we say, hope markers, because that's what the British public want to see. They want to see good fights, and we want to be personally involved in good fights. With good fighters, and we want to know the level of our fighters when we get to a certain position. And Denzel's at that position now. That's the fight he needs.
And you've got to give it to Frank Warren. He's delivered on what he said. I want the best fighting the best. And we see who's the best on the night, at the end of the day. And if you look at that bill, there's some good fights, some good fights. I hope they all hold up, you know what I mean? Because they've got some cracking fights on there. Some cracking. And I'm not just saying that. That's some. I think the boxing media, the boxing press would go along with that and all, looking at that card.
Yeah.
They could be good fights. They're good fights.
I keep looking for when any of your lads are going to be back out, some on Box Rec or whatever. So I've done my normal search, and it's like Denzel and Mark Heffron. Straight away, I was like messaging Martin. I was like, come down and see it, because I was excited straight away. And on social network, everyone.
Mad, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's a proper 50-50 fight. So I just checked the prices. So I don't know if you're aware, but I work for a bookmakers as well. So being a bit of a betting man. They've got Mark Heffron, slightly odds on.
Well, I would go.
But that don't bother you does it?
I would go along with that, because I like a bet. I like a bet.
We all do.
I've got greyhounds, so I like a bet, right? So, and if I'm a betting man, I'd look at that form, and I probably would go along with Mark. You know what I mean? On the betting sense, if he was making a book up, you would go along with that. You know what I mean? He's experienced. His knockout ratio, it's good. But there's other things we'll go with Denzel and all. And I ain't going to go into that, but like he's this and he's that. But I'm just going on a betting sense, you know what I mean? But Denzel's got pluses and all. So
Guys, who was the cruiserweight he was in with?
Tom. He's
Tom.
House, yeah.
Oh, okay. Is he?
Tom Magbagbio's just got his licence. So.
He was an amateur national champion. He won the novices under 20s. So, and he won the Haringey Box Cup. Tom, good fighter. Heavy-handed, yeah.
What do you expect from Mark on the night? How's he going to approach the fight?
Well, he's. You've got one thing with Mark. You've got to respect the power of what he brings. And if you don't respect that, you can come unstuck. So, It's hard to say, isn't it? Really?
He's gonna come to win, isn't he?
He's going to come to win, you know what I mean? He ain't going to come just he ain't there to make the numbers up. He wants to go places. He's got ambitions. So
he's got good people around him, so he's going to be ready and prepared. And so is Denzel. So, you know, the winners on the night, let's hope the British public.
British public, boxing public, you know. And they are, you know what I mean? For everybody's sake, you know. And as they say, the best man wins. That's all fights. And a good fight. That's all you can say. You know what I mean? We don't run nobody down, do we? You know what I mean? And we don't wish anybody ill health or anything like that, do we? You know what I mean?
Fair enough. Well, over to you, Adams, back in the Peacock Gym. I saw you at the sparring there, you were in the corner of when Louis Lynn was doing a bit of sparring and Chris Borg. How's it feel to be back?
Yeah, good, really good, yeah.
Yeah, good mixing with these youngsters?
Yeah, I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, so both last time out, obviously Chris won his Southern Area title, so just speaking to him, well both of them to be fair, they think they might be back out on the Dubois Joyce undercard, which I think, what did you say, it was a golden ticket at the moment. Everybody seems to want to be on that card, which is obvious. So do we think they might be out on that card?
I'm not really sure.
We don't know. We're hoping, like everyone, you know.
Is it 7 fights now?
I think it is.
Yeah, it's gone up slightly, hasn't it? So it could increase though, right? In the next few
if they are all well and good, and if they ain't, we'll try and get them out before or just after, because we really need to focus on Dan that night, and if they're not on it, we won't be overly disappointed.
Well, that was my next question. If they're not on it, it might be a bit of a disappointment for them, maybe. But
as a team thing, they'll all wish him well, so it won't matter.
And you'll get them back out anyway.
Yeah, for sure.
Louis looking great in sparring.
Yeah,
he looks like he's treated like a world title fight. Everyone in sparring.
You try and hold him back, and
you can't, can you?
No, it's difficult. You know, but that's just the way he is. You don't really want to take that away from him. You know, you want to let him just be himself, and that's just the way he is.
We just got to contain him, haven't we?
Try to.
Probably take all
more energy, isn't it?
What do we think of moving on? Frank's olive branch out, if that's the right phrase, to Eddie Hearn around. Let's get some Queensbury on against some Matchroom.
We're all fans, so we obviously thought the same as all the fans. Let's do it. Let's get it on. I mean, you know, I always think if you're a British champion or something, you need to be the best in Britain. But
that's going back, you know, again to what Frank Warren said early on. He wants the best fights for the public, and if Frank Warren and Eddie Hearn can get their heads together, all well and good, isn't it?
All the better for the sport.
You guys, us, the British public, we're going to see some good fights.
Well, loads of them were out of your stable as well, so the poster that Frank had put up, so that'd be exciting.
That was good, wasn't it?
Yeah, it would be good. Well, look, thanks for having us down as always. Pleasure, and hopefully if it's right with you, we'll come back maybe a little bit before.
Anytime, know where we are.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Cheers, gents.
Thank you.
Alright, sweet.
You have to like, subscribe, and share. As always, if you want to support us to the next level, head over to the patreon.com/ThaBoxingVoice. We have tons of exclusive from Border Wars, from title, betting shows, the list goes on and on and on. But in addition to that, if you guys have questions for fighters, trainers, and promoters, this is where you can submit them. We will run out, get these questions answered, and put it back on the show just for you guys. Appreciate it. Peace.